Hey everyone, welcome back to Gintama, episode 269. I guess a fitting number because there's a lot of porn talk in this episode. So it's basically the title was "Don't forget dates, remember people." And another episode was you can hide your porn mags, but you can't hide your
Beep.
yeah, whatever. So basically 2 episodes this week, kind of divided half and half. And this is our top three, and yeah, you just heard so I guess Samara is here with me too.
Indeed, I am. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're gonna do our top three. I mean, top five was last week, but we're gonna try something different. Maybe get this out a little faster. And I'm gonna jump into number three with mine. The first half is, I guess, Gintoki's teaching I forgot his name, but teaching him about history.
Seta. It's Seta.
Yeah, that was funny watching him just teach this kid about, I guess, Japanese history, all, like Nobunaga and all that. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And cause I was like, in first season, second season, we always see Gintoki in like the after credits as this teacher. So it's like it's kind of fitting role for him to be this teacher character. That's pretty funny.
I mean,
And,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know about you, Fosh, but I have a degree in Dynasty Warriors, so
Oh,
I
yeah,
am
definitely.
very familiar with the Sengoku Jidai.
Yeah, that and all these gender bent versions that come out every year. They always play around with the timelines and
Let's not talk
yeah.
about Nobunaga-chan, okay? Let's just not talk about that.
right. But the last thing I added to that was it was funny seeing Tsukiyo with Gintoki kind of pushing him to teach that kid certain things, and obviously Gin was kind of messing around with time. He kind of joked around about it. It was pretty funny.
I mean, I like how the first one, it's like, oh yeah, everything before the Sengoku Jidai doesn't matter. Because if you look at what animes are made about times before the Sengoku Jidai, you realize it doesn't matter.
Right? Yeah.
Because I can't, but can you name like 3 real world anime that take place before any Sengoku Jidai?
Not really. I can't remember.
Exactly my point. Doesn't matter.
Right.
And also, Suki she was trying to get them back on track. She's like, oh yeah, so in year something something, Mitsuhide betrayed Nobunaga, blah 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 blah, and he's like, yeah, that's real nice, but that's all fake out, though.
Right. It was just fun watching him, and also him talk about the apes that took over, and then there's this big old war between the apes and the cavemen, and it was just this, really crazy thing he was going about. But yeah, that first half was pretty funny for me at least. What was your number three?
My number 3 was Gintoki's wonderful decoration sense and his because the whole second episode, which was essentially part To Love Aru parody and part just well, I don't want to say that. I want to say it's just porn. You don't have to be ashamed of your porn, because when you can decorate your entire room like it's the set of a horrible S&M porn set.
Yeah, it's pretty
Is To Love Aru really that bad?
as a reader, yeah, they have a lot of topless shots, and there's a lot of shots where they're like, kind of below the belt kind of shots where they kind of angle things a certain way that they get away with censorship.
They have that.
Yeah.
But when you compare that to Shinpachi being tied up in a turtle bondage outfit and whipped, what's really the worst part?
Right, that's a little extreme, I would say, for him at least. And yeah, I
also
thought it was funny they're trying to trick his sister the whole time. Like, if she's gonna walk in and see that, and like, if you decorate it, she'll be happy about it. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and also the 2 things I thought were funniest was like how Gintoki immediately found out exactly where Shinpachi was hiding his porn mags, and then he started making fun of him. Whereas it's like, I mean, you're only buying like Grave Your Idols and Young Jump, and we all know how terrible of a magazine Young Jump is. Not like that pure Shonen Jump stuff. Not at all.
Yeah, it was pretty funny seeing that whole bit.
And why don't you just jump into number 2, because we're just going to keep talking about this for a little while, honestly.
Right, yeah, mine's again is the same thing. Gintoki basically teaching Shinpachi how to hide his porn. It was pretty funny. He just showing him like, why don't you just, put it in plain sight, don't care, about this stuff like that, and find different ways to hide it. But the whole thing was like, I guess it's kind of distraction. But I thought it was funny when he put the To Love Ru in front of the Dragon Ball, so it was To Love Dragon Ball. He was like, it blends in perfectly fine. And, they're calm, and Shinpachi freaks out.
It's all porn manga. What's the difference?
Right.
No, what you do is you hide it next to your copies of Shokugeki no Soma. That's how you get them off the trail.
Yeah, it's true. I thought he was gonna like change out the covers of the manga for something else. That's what I would have done.
Tricky, tricky, tricky.
Right.
You're experienced in this, aren't you, Fosh?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
So, what was your number 2? I think it's kind of similar.
My number 2, keep on, where we can't stop talking about porn. What can we say? It's Mednorn. What can we say? My number 2 was really just screw the PTA. And how familiar are you with Go Nagai?
Not too much. I mean, I think I recently looked it up.
Yeah, but if you know Go Nagai, like, he got his start, like, in the very beginning of Shonen Jump. He released things like Shameless School and Kekko Kamen, which are incredibly perverted comedies where you look at, and I'm not lying in any way, you look at Shonen Jump today and you compare like Shokugeki no Soma to Kekko Kamen, and Soma looks tame in comparison to what Go Nagai used to be doing. And as a result, the PTA tried to burn down his house. This was back in like the 70s. So, and Gintama has always like gotten their ire, so there's a long history of the PTA in Japan really messing it for the anime and manga creators.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I think they had the whole spill about basically lolicon stuff that was they're trying to ban all that and ban all anything sexual, basically censor a lot of it.
Yeah. And again, like, so basically, you look at crazy Shonen Jump manga like Bastard, like Kekko Kamen. I think even JoJo got some of it at one point, where it's like the PTA, they really, really don't like Shonen Jump being ridiculously crazy, violent, and sexual.
Right. I mean, because you gotta think about it too. The young crowd, probably about maybe 16 to like maybe 18 are buying this, maybe even younger, are buying these magazines. So yeah, like Gintama, obviously they always take like a kind of a humorous turn on, I guess, political stuff. As like we saw when the first episode came back with the new season, poking fun at that politician. So I was like, yeah, Gintama always has this, I guess they play around with that, even though it kind of almost lands them in a little hot water every once in a while. But yeah, I guess they take a risk,
Well, it's like when a comedian is called, like a comedian who does stand-up, sometimes they will call out their hecklers. They'll say, hey, you, say what you just said to me in front of all this crowd. They're doing the same thing, but they're a TV show.
Right, yeah. Pretty much.
And not being total assholes about it.
Right, and the thing was kind of funny, the PTA was kind of, I guess, quote, kind of supposed to be Shinpachi's sister. They kept saying her name, like, no wait, PTA, like, just using her as a, I guess, maybe the audience doesn't approve of this kind of thing. And
PTA is a deadly force.
Right, yeah. For our number 1 would be the references this week. We had, Ru obviously is a big one. Dragon Ball was mentioned, and then, we also had Assassination Classroom, because, Suki kind of made a comment to Gintoki that you're like Kuro-sensei, he's like, don't use that name. And he actually showed him, like he changed into Kuro-sensei from Assassination Class. It was pretty funny seeing that.
Yeah, I like that, because if you read, like, or watch on Assassination Classroom, you sometimes see Kuro-sensei dressing up as Jump characters. So it's like, yeah, if he was going to dress up as Gintoki, that's exactly what he would do.
Right, and they have that, J-Stars video game coming out, which has all these characters together, so it's like...
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. What was your number
1? Before we get on to my reference, what's your like experience with To Love Aru? Because I've like watched an episode or two.
I watched the first season, second season, started reading the manga, and they had a spin-off, which is To Love Aru Darkness, which is like a whole new, I guess, story. But that one's more about one of the girls building a harem for the main guy. She's like wanting him to have a harem. That way
doesn't he already have a harem?
Sort of, but she's kind of more like recruiting people for it, and slowly but surely she's building his harem. The main guy knows about it, but he's not going to
stop that.
Right, he's not going to stop that.
Alright.
So, I mean, it's, as far as like plot-wise, it's not a lot to go on. It's mostly just for the nudity.
Yeah. My number 1 of this week was referencing Hanata Keiji. Are you familiar with this work?
Not really.
Alright, well, I'm sure you know what Fist of the North Star is, correct?
Yes, I know that one.
It's by Tetsuo Hara and Bronson, but Tetsuo Hara did a bunch of other very similar manga. Like he did one called Cyber Blue, which is what if Kenshiro was a cyborg?
Hmm.
And then he did something called Nakaba Rentaro, which is what if Kenshiro worked for the IRS?
Wow.
So this one, Hanata Keiji, is what if Kenshiro was a samurai during the Sengoku Jidai? So, like I said, basically, all you can ever need to learn about the Sengoku Jidai can be found in manga and video games. And Hanata Keiji is a ridiculously, crazily violent Sengoku Jidai manga, which is amazing. And it's got that Tetsuo Hara ridiculously chiseled Mendes like. Basically, if you are the size of two guys like standing on each other's shoulders, you're a Tetsuo Hara hero.
Damn.
And you should totally read this if you like anything Fist of the North Star, because it's pretty amazing. There's like never released in English. There's a bunch of chapters you can find on the web. It's really good.
Oh yeah, that sounds interesting. Let's check that out. But yeah, I'm kind of like you. All I know about my history of that is like Sengoku, Basra, and those Dynasty Warrior games. So it's like, yeah.
Gintoki even says like, all you need to know is Basra or something along those lines.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much. Yep. That's how I learned that my history from them. Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. This episode really stressed the jump love that is so oftenly found in Gintama, and it's great because I've actually like found manga to read by reading Gintama.
Right, yeah, that's what I think I like about this series. They're not afraid to, reference other shows, and a lot of people kind of look at it as, oh, it's just a reference anime. Like, so it is somewhat, but most of the time, not really. Most of the time, the references kind of fly by so fast, you might not catch it. Yeah. But the Clever and Dragon Ball and all the other ones are kind of obvious this week. But yeah, it was pretty good. So, any last thoughts of the episode?
Well, I'm gonna try and keep this up every time where I find a quote that I really like and want to use. So this week's quote is, "Don't hide your porn mags in your room. Use the room to hide the porn mags."
Very nice. And with that note, I'm gonna end it on that, and see you guys next week for 270. And yep, see you guys next time.
Bye bye.